done all the rest of my face already today. We are just trying out the concealer. So I've moved in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm actually doing. I picked up 2 shades. This concealer is just so hard to get your hands on at the moment. It's so annoying. Every time I've been going in Superdrug, it's completely sold out. But I just happened to go in the other day and they'd got a couple of shades left. So I don't know whether I've even got the right shades. But I've been waiting to do this video for so long and I really wanted to try this concealer. So I've picked up the shades C5, which is that one, and then I picked up C15 because it was the only sort of contoury shade left. I don't know whether this is probably going to be too dark for me, but we will see. It does say on the front as well, conceal and define, full coverage, conceal and contour, so I'm guessing this is for concealer and contouring as well. So I'll just swatch shade 5. It's got a nice doe foot applicator, so that is C5, and then the C15, I think I could have probably done with C14, but they didn't have that. This was sort of the only other dark shade they had, which is that one. I think it may be a little bit too dark, but you never know once it's blended out, so we'll try it anyway and we will see how it works. Okay, so I think we should just apply it and see how we get on. And my everyday under eye concealer is the Urban Decay Naked Concealer, which I do really like. The other one that I use quite regularly is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, but I prefer the Naked Concealer because it is just that little bit more hydrating because I have very dry under eye. The shade is actually really nice because it has got more of a yellow undertone to it. I really like the way that that is looking. I'm going to use a beauty blender to blend it out because that's how I would usually blend out my concealer. So I always start with the chin. This video has actually come at quite a good time because I've ran out of my Urban Decay Naked Concealer. So I'm hoping that this can be my new under eye concealer. I do feel like it's drying up pretty quickly, so I'm having to work fast. But I do really like the coverage. And I usually like to leave my under eye concealer to last anyway, so it's sort of dried out a bit, because I feel like you do get a little bit more coverage once it's starting to set. But so far that looks really, really nice. Okay, that is a really, really full coverage. In the very inner corners is where I don't like to apply too much concealer because I do have under eye wrinkles and under eye creases, so any concealer that I apply is gonna settle in them a little bit, so I don't like to apply too much there. But I really, really like the colour of this. This is like the perfect yellowy toned concealer for my skin tone. Not actually drying as fast as I thought it was. It's definitely still giving me time to work with it and blend it out, but I'm very, very impressed so far. But even though that is a super full coverage, it doesn't look or feel too heavy on the under eyes. I'm actually really impressed with that. I'm just going to quickly take the eyeshadow brush that I've been using and just blend my under eye a little bit because I did already have eyeshadow on there. This doesn't really seem to be settling in any lines more than any of my other concealers. It actually looks really flawless and I absolutely love the coverage. It's definitely a full coverage. I wonder what this would be like as a foundation. I bet this would be a really nice formula for a foundation. I'm going to do this contour one first and then set it after. And if this does end up being a bit too dark for me, I don't really mind at all because my main purpose was to test the concealer for the under eyes. I picked up this one just as an extra one because it says that you can contour with these as well, so I wanted to try it out. But for the main purpose of this video, which was to try the concealer, I am very, very impressed and very excited because this is only £4 and the one that I use every day I think is £16. The Urban Decay Naked Concealer, it might even be more than that, I'm not sure. So this is going to save me a lot of money. I'm going to work pretty slow with this because I want to see how it blends out. So I'm just going to do 3 dots each side and then I'm going to use a brush just to see how it works with the brush and just sort of blend this into my hairline. I don't actually think this will be that bad because I can go over with the sponge that I've used for foundation as well. It blends out really effortlessly with a brush, by the way. I really like that. I'm just going to use the side of the sponge which I've used for foundation and then just go over to blend it out a little bit more. But I don't think that actually looks too bad. Definitely could be a little bit of a lighter shade, but desperate times come for desperate measures, so I just picked up the only one that they sort of had. So again, for the contour, I'm just going to put a few little dots first. And that's actually blending out really nicely again. Actually a nice contour shade because it's not too warm, though I prefer to do a warm contour because I can bronze and contour at the same time, but that actually doesn't look bad at all. Well, this part might end up being a little bit of a disaster, but I really wanted to see sort of how it blended with both a brush and a beauty blender because I never blend my under eye concealer out with a brush really. And I'm also going to go over the cheeks again just with the foundation side of my sponge. So I am really happy with that. I'm just going to go on the under eyes again because I'm going to set everywhere now. So I'm just going over them first with the beauty blender again, and then I'm going to use my Laura Mercier translucent powder, which is the powder which I always use to set my under eyes. And again, I think that looks really flawless. To finish, I'm just going to apply some of the Beach Bronzer from Urban Decay. So final thoughts, I think that this concealer is now one of my new favourites. The one thing that has most shocked me is the coverage because I don't find that drugstore concealers tend to have that much coverage, whereas this is definitely a full coverage, but it doesn't feel heavy, it feels super lightweight, it doesn't look cakey. It looks so flawless. Contouring wise, I don't know whether I will use this a lot for contouring because I don't really use concealers like that much for contour. I usually use like a contour stick or something, but that's only my personal preference. I just wanted to try the darker shade out just to see how it blended and things like that. I think I will get a lighter shade, maybe shade 14 might be better for me, and I'll try it again, but again, I really can't complain. It blended out really nice. It didn't move any of my foundation around or pull it off or anything. And all my other products applied really nicely over the top. For the under eye, I think this is pretty amazing for £4. Super full coverage, it's super flawless. There isn't anything bad that I would say about it. So I am going to give it the wear test as well, but I'm not going to keep this face on because I want to film an Instagram video next. So I am just quickly going to redo my base so I can do my eyes on camera. I am still going to use both the same concealers, though I will come back later once they've been on for a few hours and see how it wears. So I may look a little bit different now, but after I finish filming the review video, I quickly filmed an Instagram video which you will maybe have already seen if you follow me on Instagram. I use literally the same base product, so nothing really has changed, but the concealer has lasted really well. I'm so surprised. It has maybe settled in a few of my fine lines, but I do naturally have quite creasy under eyes anyway, and I do have some wrinkles, so I'm not really too bothered about that because I blend my eyeshadow down quite far. It's worn just as well as my high-end concealers, so yeah, I am so impressed. So yeah, I absolutely love the coverage. It's really super long wearing, and yeah, I'm super impressed. I think it's safe to say that this is definitely my new favourite drugstore concealer. So that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you did down in the comments below, and if you've tried this concealer yet, and don't forget to give it a big thumbs up as well and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!